What is up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into the conversation. Now, more footage, content, pictures, images are being released by Jeannie Mai of Jeezy and his blazers, if you know what I mean. All right, guys. So, according to Radar Online, Jeannie Mai said she removed the daughter from their home back in October 2023, claiming the daughter found his Louis Vuitton bag, which allegedly contained an AK-47 blazer inside. She also claimed the blazer was found next to his bed before and has stressed the urgency to lock them up. During the time that the parties resided together, both in LA and in Atlanta, father would frequently walk around the house carrying an AK-47. Jeannie also alleged that Jeezy choked her from behind while she was coming up the stairs at Ritz-Carlton Hotel in San Francisco on April 14th, 2022. He denied the claims, and he says this malicious attempt to tarnish my character and disrupt my family is ridiculous. It's disheartening to witness the manipulation and deceit at play, and at this time, my main concern is being an active father to our daughter as I continue to fight for court-mandated joint custody. Now, at first, he wanted the full, right? And then he switched it to joint, probably knowing that there was some evidence to prove as to why the courts would not want to go there. But it's rare that they will not do a joint, or even if not joint, but just regular visitation, giving the mother full custody. But with that being said, there are these images of him toting around the AK-47, images of it. And listen, I don't doubt that he was regularly having these things around. What I'm not going to do is just say, oh, well, it wasn't a big deal when you was with him and you was fighting for the marriage, even after he filed for the divorce. And then you just decided, you know what, screw this. If you want to go low, I'm going to go even lower. And you want to take it there, I'm going to take it further. That, unfortunately, is stuff that happens in divorces. It gets messy. It is rare when it's amicable, because you have two parties, one probably not wanting. It's usually the situations when both parties agree, like, look, this just ain't working out for either of us. Let's just go our separate ways. You have this and I'll have that, and let's just move on. But when it's one party, especially when she says she was blindsided by it, it's rare that it's going to become amicable. And it is not just that she was probably compiling evidence in the event this would happen one day, but you're just being on the safe side to protect yourself in the event something may happen. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like she is just this perfect victim, that she just got into a situation with a person that she thought was this 100% upstanding individual, and then he wound up being a gangster. Like, no, you knew who he was. She definitely knew who he was. She may not have known every single intricacy about him, but he wasn't Wayne Brady. Okay? And I've even heard that he has a dark side. So, but what my point in saying that is, he didn't have this public persona where he was like Carlton from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where he was just like this corny cornball in public, and then in private, he's walking around the house carrying AK-47s and that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Using drugs and alcohol. Yeah, I believe she finally was with it, and then they probably had some contentious moments in the household where they were arguing, fighting, and she was looking out for herself. But this is the thing that I feel like people really need to understand. You may not even understand it, but you just need to accept it. You may not understand it, but you just need to accept it. Unfortunately, I don't care what the ethnicity of the woman is. It is just in most women's DNA to be a fixer or to try to be a fixer. That's not what we were meant to do, but we're nurturers by nature. It's not just you get those instincts when you become a mother, because some people never become mothers that are women. Not everyone has a child. But it's just something that's in most women to be nurturers. And you don't just give up that easy. You don't just let go. So it is highly possible that she was seeing all of these things happening in real time and behind the scenes and was just doing her best to try to make it work. Because even after he filed for divorce, her response was she wanted to fight for her marriage. That shows you right there that she wasn't willing to just let it go. So they probably had those discussions on a number of occasions. And she was like, no, baby, I want to work this out. I know it's not perfect. I know things aren't, the greatest, but I want to fight for us. I want to fight for the marriage. It's just not even sometimes that you love that man so much or they love that man so much. It's they love the situation so much, or they love the thought of marriage. Like, stupid Portia, she said on a number of occasions, I'm just such a hopeless romantic and I just love love. And that's so stupid. But a lot of people, and she's of a different breed, but a lot of females, they have that mentality where it's all about the optics of love and the relationship and what love is really supposed to be, when in all honesty, a lot of relationships, they're not easy. They shouldn't be hard in terms of you're fighting with each other. It should be you and me against the world. The world is hard. The world has a lot going on within it, but you and I, we're going to fight together. So when it becomes dangerous like this, then you have to get to the point where it's like, you know what, I choose to walk away from this. But like I said before, because of the public persona and making this social media relationship where you're putting on airs, if you will, for the public to make it seem like you have this great relationship and this great marriage and he loves me and he proposed to me in Monaco and we had a baby. We named the baby Monaco because that's where he proposed to me, and all of this other foolish stuff. I mean, really, it's like stuff made for storybooks, which is fiction, right? It's not real. Then you choose to try to live in that, and then in private you are miserable. So seeing these images, to me, it wasn't shocking. I didn't see this and say, oh my God. One, I'm used to seeing weapons like that. My husband is a veteran, so I'm just saying. But I don't understand the mentality of some women that are saying things like, see, that's what happens when you get with a woman who's not black. Clearly, that's been his preference for some time now, if you look at his previous relationships. But I think it's foolish to say that, because it's like, do you think it's cool for him to be a certain type of way, or be that way, if you will, as long as it's with a black woman? I believe that we deserve great, if not better. So why would people try to say, well, see, that's what happens when you get with somebody who ain't black? I just feel that is just so stupid. That man is clearly troubled, and he doesn't need to be in a relationship with anyone. I don't care if they're black, white, Japanese, Arab, Russian, Indian, nothing. Broken people, they need to get themselves fixed. You shouldn't be in a relationship with anyone else. I don't care what ethnicity you are. So seeing him walking around the house with it and everything like that, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't see the big deal here. He's just trying to protect his household. I don't think that was the case. I don't think, even though I know there's a lot of break-ins and thievery going on in Atlanta, I don't think that was what the case was. I believe he probably was drunk I believe he probably was walking around with it to show, a tone of being the strong man and the force and all of that other stuff. And she probably was afraid. She probably was. I'm not going to take that away from her. But when you're with somebody like that, and you also have this mindset of wanting to be a fixer, because you're in a volatile situation, I don't believe she was taking pictures for evidence to use against him later. I believe she was keeping it to protect herself, which ultimately this is what she's trying to do. She's fighting for custody of her child and trying to show this is the type of man that he is. So it's really not fair, just my personal opinion, it's really not fair when people say, oh, well, you were with him all this time and you didn't have a problem. When he filed for divorce, you wanted to fight for the marriage and now you want to come out here with all this evidence. Well, she has to do what she has to do. She's trying to protect herself. What is she supposed to just give up and say, okay, you can have whatever you want. I'm just going to roll over and start over. No. If she has stuff that's going to help to keep her safe, that's going to help to keep her child either physical primary custody, if not joint custody, but definitely to bar him from getting full custody, she has to do what she has to do. And any woman, I don't care if they were Black, Asian, Arab, Indian, African, Russian, they all would have been foolish to not get some evidence to keep for themselves in the event something happens in the future. Everybody should be looking out for themselves, not just somebody who's Asian. So I just don't think that thought is even wise. I think it's a very foolish thought. But again, a lot of people, when it comes to the situation of the Black men being in relationships with others, they'll say, well, see, that's what happens when listen, we're not all the same. I'm not going to even go there and act like we are. We're not all the same. We all have blood that flows through our veins. We all have the body parts on the inside, but we're different. God did make us all differently. If we were all the same, then we would all look alike, period. But we're not. So we're not all the same. We all have our cultural differences and our way of doing things. So that definitely is a true statement. But it doesn't mean that if he was with a Black woman, she shouldn't have evidence or things like that in the event something happened in the future to cover for herself and protect her family. You have to do what you have to do. I don't care what ethnicity you are. So yeah, you can let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section, guys. I just really wanted to speak to the fact that this situation does not surprise me. I talked about it previously where I do believe her when it comes to the abuse allegations. I do believe her. I don't think she's lying about it. But did she forgive him and, try to move forward and accept it and say, oh, he's sorry? Definitely, she did. But she's not the first and she won't be the last. Unfortunately, a lot of women in these marriages and in these relationships, they suffer in silence or in private behind closed doors, but in public, they put on the public persona and all of those different things, So anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for being here, liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful. And now I'm going to say bye.
Maybe we're mistaken. Don't wanna talk, don't wanna see, don't wanna feel.